Let's make some easy freehand snowflakes. Yesterday, I watched an artist make beautiful snowflakes out of wax paper, and his first step was to take out his ruler and use a guide that he had made to make sure his cuts were correct. And those were basically the opposite of the kinds of snowflakes that I like to make, which are freehand and relaxing. Snowflakes are very meditative to make and wonderful practice for scissor skills, both for adults and for kids. And I'm making them here out of printer paper because that's a good kind of paper to demo since everybody has it. But today I made a lot of snowflakes out of parchment paper, and it was such a pleasure to cut, but it was much more slippery than printer paper. To make good snowflakes, you need to think about how shapes look when they're folded. And so here I'm cutting a chevron shape. This is a triangle. And here we've got a diamond and a circle and a heart. If you ever make snowflakes with kids, they just love the heart shapes. And there you can see how all the shapes look unfolded. So let's go over how I make my snowflakes. You don't need to start with a square piece of paper. Here I've started with a piece of scrap. I've got some jagged edges, so I made an extra line. That line will show me where I need to cut over. So I started with a square. I folded it into a triangle, and then I folded that triangle again 2 more times. Above the red line, I'm going to cut an asymmetrical triangle at the opposite end of the point of the snowflake. Now, the secret is the more you cut out of the snowflake, the more delicate and airy your snowflake will be. I think this snowflake turned out just fine. If I were going to make a snowflake with kids, what I would do is make the first 3 triangle folds for them. And then I would draw on the little snowflake packet the cuts that I thought that they should make. Here I'm drawing a little diamond at the tip of the snowflake triangle. It's important for kids and for anyone making a snowflake to know where the tip of the snowflake is, because that'll help you make a more successful snowflake if you know which are the sides where you're supposed to make your cuts versus the tip where you need to be more careful. So here I've made some pretty dramatic lines on the sides, and so these more delicate cuts would be good for a kid who's had some practice. And my daughter and I, when she was 5, made so many snowflakes that this kind of snowflake cutting would have been pretty easy for her by the end. Making snowflakes with me made her hands strong and gave her a lot of dexterity. Here, I've got some tips for making a snowflake. You can pause and have a look at them in more detail if you'd like. But the most important thing is that you remember to relax. This is just paper. If you mess up 1 snowflake or 2 or 10, it really doesn't matter. It's only paper. You can just throw it away and start again, because that's okay. Anyway, let's go over the snowflake prep one more time. You're going to make a fold out of paper into the shape of a triangle. Then you're going to fold that paper again, but make a guideline for yourself so that you remember where to cut above. That is less important for the 3-fold. It's pretty easy to see where to cut above. But when you fold a 4th time like this one, that little guideline is going to help you make your snowflake more successful. So this snowflake packet has 4 folds, which means it's going to be thicker. I'll have more layers of paper to cut, but it'll be narrower and also more delicate. Would you like to see how this snowflake turns out? Have a look at the beginning of the video. It's the one that I was unfolding. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more snowflakes, and please do subscribe for more crafts with me, Kate.